Good morning, this is Jim, 5714 Collector, bringing you another video. It's Sunday morning. I was going through some cards yesterday and I ran across my 1972 Kellogg set, and I thought it would be kind of cool to show those this morning. It's a complete set of 54 Kellogg's cards. I have 3 of them graded, which I'll also show, but let's start off with the number 1 card in the set, Tom Terrific. This is a really nice looking card. Tom got card number 1 after having another great season, 20 wins. I think his ERA was 1.76. So that's a pretty good way to start a set of cards. We've got All-Star center fielder Amos Otis of the Kansas City Royals. That's card number 2. And there's the back of that card. So these are pretty cool looking. Card number 3 is Willie Davis. Played center field for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's played in the 66 World Series. He's infamous for making 3 errors in Game 2 of the 66 World Series, which Sandy Koufax was his last Major League start. Just a little trivia this morning. We also have Wilbur Wood, card number 4. And he was an iron horse pitcher for the White Sox. Had a couple really great years for them. Very nice looking card of Wilbur Wood. We also have from Milwaukee, Bill Parsons, who had some decent years for the Brewers. There's his card back. That's a pretty awesome looking card. Here we have Pete Rose. Old Pete Charlie Hustle. There's the back of that card. Don't have to say anything about Pete Rose. I think everybody knows the story. But there's Pete's card on the 72 Kellogg's set. We have Stretch Willie McCovey, who hit 521 Major League home runs in his career, mainly with the Giants. An MVP, Rookie of the Year, one of the most feared sluggers in the game in history. That's a nice looking card too. I love these Kellogg's cards. I have this 74 set also, and I'll show that in a future video. We got Ferguson Jenkins. He won 20 games 6 years in a row, and I think he won 27 times. That's the back of his cards. Also, Cy Young Award winner with the Cubs. We have the great Vida Blue, who in 1971 went 24-8 for the A's. Won the Cy Young Award and the MVP that season. Well, that's a pretty awesome looking card of Vida Blue. He's one of them borderline Hall of Famers. Just depends on your opinion and all that. We've got Hall of Fame manager Joe Torre. Now this card here, he's coming off his 1971 MVP season. This is pretty cool. And if I remember right, without even looking at the back of the card, I think he hit 363 that season. So one of the all-time great seasons for him, that's for sure. And again, of course, he led the Yankees. Everybody knows that story too. Back when the Yankees were winning all those World Series titles. Here's a Oriole, Merv Retman. He had a couple of really good seasons for the Orioles, and one of my favorite players growing up. Now, beautiful card too. These are really cool looking. And we got Bill Melton, who, if I remember correctly, led the American League in home runs at least 1 season and maybe 2 times. I know he had to retire early due to a bad back. He had a back problem, and he had to retire early. But he had a nice career with the White Sox. So, very good player. And if I remember right, he just recently died a couple months back. We got the great Jim Palmer for the Orioles, 3-time Cy Young Award winner. Back in the Orioles' heyday, back in the late 60s, early 70s. And old Palmer had a great career with the Orioles. 268 wins. He also threw a no-hitter in 1969. I think it was against the A's. A little trivia there for you. We got Doug Rader, who had a nice career with the Houston Astros. Also, he managed a couple of years also. We've got Dave Roberts. I can't remember too much about Dave Roberts. It's not the Dave Roberts that is managing the Dodgers now. It's the other Dave Roberts. But here, just thought I'd throw that in. But yeah, he playing for San Diego, early San Diego Padres card from 1972. We got the great Bobby Mercer, center fielder for the Yankees, who had some fantastic years for them. I remember right, of course, everybody thought he was going to be the next Mickey Mantle, but he had a great career in his own right. And I think 1974, 75, he was traded to the Giants for Bobby Bonds. So Bobby Bonds wound up on the Yankees. We got Wes Parker, Gold Glove first baseman for the Dodgers. It's a nice looking card too. All these cards are really sharp looking. We've got Joe Coleman, who won 20 games a couple times himself. He started out back with the Senators, wound up with the Tigers, had some nice years with them in Detroit. He's a very good pitcher. Here's Manny Sanguine. And Manny, very good hitter, good defensive catcher for the Pirates. Nice guy, always smiling. I met him. My daughter and I went to a Pirates game, and I think he had like a little restaurant at PNC, and we actually met him. And if I remember right, my daughter got a picture taken with him, so that's pretty cool. And we come to the first graded card, the great Reggie Jackson. And I think that's a beautiful card there. And there's the back. Don't have to say anything about Reggie because everybody knows Reggie's story. He had a great career, Hall of Famer, one of the all-time great players. And we come back to a couple of non-graded. Ralph Garr. That's pretty cool. Now, what's funny about this is there's no insignia. And, here he's playing with the Braves. And for some reason, I don't know why. And if you do know why, please let me know in the comments why he doesn't have the insignia on his hat. Unless he was traded in between that season. And I'd have to go back and look. But it does say Braves on the back. So if you do know, please let me know in the comments. We got Jim Catfish Hunter, another former Cy Young Award winner, back when he was playing with the A's. And that's a really cool card. I love that picture too. That's pretty awesome. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the Kelloggs sets. Rick Wise, I dropped that one. Rick Wise, prior to his trade he went from the Phillies to the Cardinals in the Steve Carlton trade. And Rick Wise, I think if I remember right, won 188 Major League games. So he had a good career too. Not up to the par of Carlton, but he had a decent career, that's for sure. And he was a good hitting pitcher also, Rick Wise was. We got Glenn Beckett. It's pretty cool. Second baseman for the Cubbies. And there's the back of that card. Just like the show. It's cool that they have the pictures too. I think that's kind of neat. We got Tony Oliva, Hall of Famer, 3-time American League batting champion, Rookie of the Year. Great hitter this guy was. Tony Oliva is one of the all-time great natural hitters. And the Twins had a couple of them because they had Rod Carew too. It's too bad that he had some bad knees because if he hadn't, he should have been in the Hall of Fame a lot sooner, but he would have been if he had played, if he was healthy. Because Tony had a great career, no doubt about that. And I was so happy when he made the Hall of Fame. Well-deserved, great player, no doubt about that. And here comes one of my favorite pitchers of all time, the great Bob Gibson, MVP, Cy Young Award winner. I mean, Bob Gibson was amazing. Of course, I saw him on TV pitching, and very feared pitcher. There's the back of his card. I don't have to say too much about Bob Gibson because everybody knows how great he was. So I just got to show that card. Beautiful. And then we come to Mike Cuellar, pitcher for the Orioles. The Orioles got him in a trade with Kurt Blefary from the Astros. And what a great trade that was, because this guy here won 20 games a couple times for the Orioles. He shared the Cy Young Award in 1969 with Denny McLain of the Tigers. And he had just a fantastic career. If I remember right, he won 185 Major League games. So pretty awesome career for him too. We got Chris Spire on the Giants. And that's pretty cool. He had a couple great years. I'd have to go back and look. I can't remember if he won the Rookie of the Year or not. I'd have to go check. I don't want to say he did because I'm not 100% sure. I know he got some votes for the Rookie of the Year. I just don't remember if he won it. The great Dave McNally. Big fan of Dave McNally. Won 184 Major League games for the Orioles. He played 1.5 year or so with the Expos. He's a 4-time 20-game winner. Had some great years for the O's. I know he finished second one year in the Cy Young voting to Jim Perry, and I think that was 1970. He went 24-9. He had a great season for the Orioles. Again, the great Dave McNally. And also, I don't remember for sure if he's the only pitcher ever, but he was the first pitcher ever to hit a grand slam in a World Series game. 1970 Game 3 against the Reds. Dave McNally. He won that game 9-3. We got Leo Cardenas, if I'm saying that right. That's pretty cool for the Minnesota Twins. That's a pretty awesome looking card. We got Bill Freehan, who played for the Tigers, 1968 World Champions, catcher, great player in his own right. Another probably borderline Hall of Famer. Doesn't get enough credit back in that era when the pitching was dominating, but he had a nice career himself. Bud Harrelson, New York Mets. Everybody remembers Bud Harrelson. He was a great shortstop. Also, he got involved with Pete Rose in that play in the playoff game. And Pete Rose came in hard on him and all that. And there was a big fight after that. And that's something, if you ever want to check that out, look on YouTube and check that out. But there's Bud Harrelson. So that's pretty awesome. Here we go. Sudden Sam McDowell. He had a great career with the Indians. He had some off-the-field issues, we'll say. Not going to get into all that. But he did have a great career early on. He was traded for Gaylord Perry back in 71-72 timeframe. Of course, Perry came over to the Indians and won the Cy Young Award in 1972. He won 24 games that year for the Indians. Claude Osteen, I hope I'm saying that right. Dodgers pitcher. I looked it up. I think he won 196 games lifetime and lost 195, if I remember right. So I'm pretty close on that. But he had some great years for the Dodgers. I think early on, if I remember right, he pitched for the Senators. But he was one of them bonus babies. He hit the major leagues at like 18 or 19. So he had a long career and a very good player. And we got Reggie Smith, who had a nice career with the Red Sox, played with the Dodgers. Another all-star in the back. And if I remember right, Reggie hit over 300 home runs lifetime. So he had a nice career and all that. So very cool looking card. I'll show that a little closer. Got Sonny Siebert. Another decent pitcher for the Red Sox. Show the back of that. And if I can't remember all the wins and all that, but I'm pretty sure he had over 100. I just don't know the total amount. I don't research all these. Yet alone, if I research it, I have to write it down because I'm not going to remember all the numbers and all that. We got Lee May. Of course, he played for the Orioles in the mid-'70s. So Lee May had some great years. He was involved in the Joe Morgan trade. So Lee May went over to Houston, and Joe Morgan came to the Reds. And, of course, that led to the Big Red Machine. Lee May, of course, is the guy that Brooks Robinson threw out in the World Series. If I remember right, it was Game 1. So, yeah, that's a cool play. If you ever get a chance, look up the 1970 World Series Game 1, the Brooks Robinson play where he threw Lee May out by a step at first base. Pretty awesome play. Mickey Lodge. Mickey Lodge had a great career, over 200 wins. He had a 300 strikeout season. He won 25 games one year. And another guy that could be a Hall of Famer. He's on that borderline. He had a really nice career for the Tigers. Mickey Lodge. And we've got Cookie Rojas, second baseman for the Kansas City Royals. And I think if I remember right, he hit a home run in the All-Star game one year, too. I can't remember if it was the game-winning home run, but he did hit a home run. So that's pretty cool. Had a nice career. All these guys really had, they had some great picks here. Some players are missing. Hank Aaron's missing. Yastrzemski's missing. Brooks isn't in this. Frank's not in it. So they're missing some players. Dick Drago for Kansas City, starting pitcher, and I think toward the end of his career, he went to the bullpen and pitched out of the bullpen and had a nice career as a reliever also. But pretty cool. We got Nate Colbert, played for San Diego, had a couple great seasons for them, hit 38 home runs Yeah, that's a pretty cool looking card. That's the old San Diego uniform. That's pretty awesome cards, it is. We've got Andy Messersmith, 20-game winner. Pitched for the Angels. He tested the reserve clause with Dave McNally in 1975. That pretty much led to free agency. Kurt Flood, of course, in 1970 when he didn't report. When he got traded and he didn't report, I remember, I think he was traded to the Phillies. But yeah, Andy Messersmith and Dave McNally also tested the reserve clause and also led to free agency. So there's Andy Messersmith. He had a great career too, but of course, got his arm, hurt his arm and all that, and but he still won over 100 games. Very nice career. We got Dave Johnson, second baseman for the Orioles. Of course, he got traded to the Braves and hit 43 home runs for them in 1973. But Dave had a nice career with the Orioles. Also became manager. He managed several teams, but I remember him managing the Nats and all that. And then, so he had a nice career. He's one of those guys that just had a really nice career. So there's Dave Johnson. We got Steve Blass. Steve Blass won a couple games in the 71 World Series against the Orioles, and he won Game 7, if I remember right. Please correct me if I'm wrong. It was either Game 6 or Game 7, but I think it was 7. And then, of course, he ran into control issues and really never pitched well after this season here. But he became a broadcaster for the Pirates and had a nice broadcasting career also, but very good pitcher in his own right. And we got Bob Robertson, another Pirate, had a nice career. He had a 3 home run game. I can't remember, it might have been in a playoff game, but I know he hit 3 home runs. I would have to go back and look that up, but he had a nice career too. Bob Robertson. Billy Williams, Mr. Consistency, had a great career with the Cubs, finished up with Oakland. He was runner-up to Johnny Bench in the 1970 MVP race. He had a couple of really fantastic seasons, and of course Bench had a little bit better, but Billy Williams had a great career. I think he hit 426 lifetime home runs. Very good player for the Cubs. Juan Marichal. Here's another great pitcher who never won a Cy Young Award, which is amazing when you think about it. If you look at his stats on the back of his card, he had a bunch of 20-game win seasons for the Giants. But he always, back in those days, of course, Koufax were, he was winning them. Bob Gibson won in 68. For a while there, they were only doing one in each league, and that kind of hurt his chances. But there's the great Juan Marichal, Hall of Famer. We got Lou Brock. So Lou Brock, of course, don't have to say much about him. He was a great hitter, 3,000 hit club. A couple great years with the Cardinals, of course, with the World Series in 64, 67, and 68. He was runner-up in MVP, if I remember right, in 1974. I'd have to double-check that. I think that's the year Rose won it, and Lou Brock was the runner-up. But he might have been the year before, but there's Lou Brock. Great player. Mel Stottlemyre won a little over 160 games pitching for the Yankees. Of course, he was a pitching coach too. But he had some great years too. Won 20 games a couple times. So that's a pretty cool looking card. Like I said, got some great players from the early 70s in this set. Don Wilson pitching for Houston. Tragic story. Look him up sometime when you get a chance. Look up the Don Wilson story. Go to YouTube or go to Wikipedia and take a look. I won't get into what happened to Don Wilson and what he did, but he was a great pitcher for Houston. Just another tragic story in baseball history. Sal Bando, starting third baseman for Oakland, had a great career himself, all-star. He was a very good third baseman for Oakland for a long time. We come to the great Willie Stargell, Hall of Famer, 475 lifetime home runs for Willie. Great career for the Pirates. Fantastic player. Really like that card, so just to show that real quick one more time. And coming down toward the end here, got Willie Mays. Don't have to say nothing about Willie Mays other than the great Willie Mays. There's the back. Now, one issue with this card is it's got a crack, so I need to replace this. I'm going to work on getting that in Chantilly, Strongsville if I go. But I need to get this card replaced. I had to replace the Tom Seaver also because I had a crack in it. And we're going to end it up with the great one. Let's save the great one for last. Roberto Clemente, another player that does not need to be talked about because everybody knows Clemente's story. Great humanitarian, just a great player, a great human being. And I just figured, let's show, we're gonna finish this up right. Let's finish it up with Roberto, the great one. It's a very cool looking card. And I have two more things I want to show this morning because I can't end the video without showing the Nolan Ryan piece. One thing I do want to show before the Ryan piece is Tom Bradley's autograph. This is from the Fresno Giants. Oh, sorry, I apologize. Yeah, it's from the Giants, the Phoenix Giants. So this card here I picked up on eBay recently. It's autographed. The reason I bought this is I was reading, and I'm still reading the Mike Kramer book. And Mike Kramer took this picture and produced these cards. So I thought I got to get one of these. So Tom Bradley with an autograph. So that's pretty awesome. And I picked this up. I'm going to very carefully bring this into the picture. I picked this up recently. I just got this from the Hall of Fame. So it's a Nolan Ryan bobblehead with the New York Mets when he got drafted. And let me just show the back. I got to be very careful with this. There's the back of it. And let me just show this too. So there you go. So I just got a brand new bobblehead to add to the collection. I got to figure out where I'm going to put it in my cabinet. It's a limited edition of 144 pieces. And I saw that on, I got an email from the Hall of Fame. And I thought, oh, that's cool. So I ordered it, just got it Friday night. So I wanted to show that this morning. End the video with Nolan. I hope everybody has a great day. Please leave me comments if you get a chance. I will show my 1974 Kelloggs set in a future video. I've got a couple other ones. So I was going through them. I'm putting them in numerical order. And I thought it would be fun to show those this morning. So I hope everybody enjoyed the video. Hope everybody has a great day. And we'll talk to you on the next one. Take care.